nag about this, but we've been asking and kind of getting nowhere with it. We just got one side, and like Tommy she needs something to talk about, and the only thing we've had to talk about, nobody's cutting stuff for us. You know what I mean? Tommy, would you just like a Van Hollen, a Moore, maybe two Moores and a Van Hollen? Or no, hold on, I'm asking her right now.
Yeah. Mariah says she cut them. The problem is they're not in there. Only the first one was. So I need Mariah to make sure that she put them in there.
But you want another one. You don't just want two West Moore.
She just got a third from Van Hollen.
Okay, great. So maybe there's a placeholder thing, or things aren't getting transferred fast enough?
She needs to figure out how to put it in there so it's ready for me, because Dawn said only one was ready.
Okay, maybe if you could just check up on if there are placeholders and if they're being attached. Like, I don't know where the disconnect is over on that side, but that would be super helpful.
Yeah, I was about to start.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. It's 1 o'clock. Should we head over, or should we just wait until...
I heard somebody say 2:30.
Oh, really?
But I don't know what I was listening to.
They asked if we need to go get set up for it. Should I say?
We don't know. I'm going to go ask anybody.
Well, Jackie, we learned a moment ago that Transmission Secretary Key Bridge is on site surveying the damage to the bridge behind me. Of course, President Biden saying that all resources necessary. But he also mentioned the top priority is the search and rescue. The orders are going to come for individuals, construction workers, and models of the bridge around the world. When this collapse,
I don't know if it could be sooner, but that's what the guys back there said. I'm going to go find a bathroom.
Okay.
So it's in that one?
Yep, just right in the door and then behind some cubicles.
Just give you a look here. I'll push the scroll.
Hey, this is great.
Ano, před malou chvílí vystoupil guvernér státu Maryland, kde Baltimore leží, i tento důležitý americký přístav, a řekl, že v tuto chvíli se hledá 6 mužů. Podle listu Washington Post má jít o 6 hispánských pracovníků, kteří opravovali v noci most. A jak můžete vidět za mnou, tak celý ten most je uzavřený, vlastně končí uprostřed řeky, kde se zcela zhroutila konstrukce na tu obří loď nákladní, kde je nadále celá posádka, a ta posádka je podle informací opět médií v pořádku. Ta loď narazila do pilíře mostu, který se zhroutil, je to jeden z nejdelších mostů. To, co se tu odehrává, že je vlastně zastavená lodní dopravě v Baltimoru, který je velmi důležitým americkým přístavem, jedničkou pro dopravu automobilů ze světa. Také už vystoupil americký prezident Joe Biden a komentoval tuto tragédii, a české televize tady v Baltimoru poskytla exkluzivní rozhovor starosta tohoto města, a já jsem se ho zeptal, první otázka byla, jestli toto město právě prožívá noční můr. Díky. Už ne, díky. Už se nemá.
don't know. Maybe, I don't know. It's just however it comes out, you know? Yeah, he's here. They said he was going to be here, and then again, he must have been on route already by the time this
Teďka bych si vzal tu volbu pro mě teďka skončilo, pojede sem, jo. Že tohle to je celý přístav prezidenta. Tak jestli si vezmeš, teďka bych poslal, jo. Tady ten jeden se to to bude jak projížděl to
run and grab my water real quick. I think I'm okay for a moment.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Kevin, you might want to go for that. It's really nothing. Yeah. Just get like hey, yes.
Okolí mostu, který je pojmenovaný po autorovi textu americké hymny, je zcela uzavřené. Jak můžete vidět, za mnou silnice končí
Well, yeah, I mean, we have a ton of, I assume you have some video and stuff that you roll throughout, just live shots, video of the bridge. That was, we don't, I'm not going to call for it specifically, but you can talk that while
Слушай, как это zanima? Nino bene variante da
Okay, sounds good.
Rozumiem. Okay, pol pa ne, pol bom pa počakal.
I'm not picky, but as you know,
Ja, veš kaj, jaz zdaj šele se prebijal sem, tako da nisem
Congress whole mill,
imaš nekaj takega, če si opazil na agencijah?
chocolate, yeah, but I like pretzels, snack nuts. No, that's okay. I have some at home if I get a craving. There's some dark chocolate nuts there.
Ne, nisem. Ok, bom se to pogledal, kaj je. ni pomáhat. OK, budu mít stole, D'accord.
Hey George, this is Bridget. I talked to you Saturday about the 900 XR and coming in today for a test drive. How are you? I work for the news and my day completely shifted because the bridge collapsed. I work for Channel 11 and I'm currently in a media area, so my day got completely screwed. Not as bad as other people's days. So anyways, I just wanted to touch base because I was planning on coming in, but I cannot get there before you guys close today. So hopefully Saturday I could come in for a test drive. I don't know, what are your hours? What are your days like?
Just say near Baltimore.
Okay. Okay. I'm really gonna effort to try and get in Saturday for the test drive. I never got the email from your whatever you might call him, your like used bike estimator.
However Siri pronounces it is how I listen to it for several minutes. I was covering a hurricane and I said it wrong. And
Oh,
it was
okay.
in Florida, my home state. I had never even heard of it. Stand by.
This morning. Oh, you know what? Yep. I hadn't had a chance to open my personal email because of work. I just opened it and there it is. All right, I'll definitely fill that out the next chance I get, and I'll let you know. I'll give you a heads up if I could come in Saturday afternoon for a test drive. Okay, thank you. Take care.
And Brian, we know that
Bye.
the Transportation Secretary, Pete Buttigieg, is here right now surveying the damage and helping, from the Biden administration standpoint in any way that they can, as those search and rescue crews are frantically trying to find 6 people who were on the bridge, construction workers, who fell in after that ship rammed into a support beam, causing almost all of this 1.5 mile long bridge to collapse. We know that 2 construction workers were pulled from the water in the early hours of the morning. One of them miraculously had no injuries, didn't even go to the hospital. The other seriously hurt and is being treated at a hospital right now. We're also getting a little bit more information in terms of the timeline of events. We know that the ship put in a mayday call saying that they had lost power, they couldn't steer it, and in the time between that mayday call and when the ship actually struck the bridge, officials on the bridge with the Department of Transportation here in Maryland, they were able to stop traffic from going onto the bridge. So the president and all of the officials here on the ground, including Governor Westmore, have said that time
Going to Deb,
it was important because
after
they were
Kim,
able
and I
to
think
save
we're
lives
after
and
Deb.
stop traffic from going on the bridge. That being said, they don't know how many cars may have been passing over the bridge at the time of the collapse. Now, of course, the search and rescue is the top priority right now, but President Biden also just spoke a short time ago about the recovery efforts in terms of the Port of Baltimore, which is a massive port with automobiles, fertilizers,
She said bites are attached, or Stacy said bites are attached, but I'm not privy to like what bites you're getting.
Yeah. Marie and Rachel in my group chat with them, they said Ben Holland is ready, so I'll just talk to them.
More out of that
they're all there, so maybe you can call for
Oh,
more.
okay. I'll do Van Hollen this time, maybe more again next time, because I did more last time.
I do both. They need you to stretch.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah, if you can do both, I would do that. It doesn't really matter. Like I said, it doesn't really matter if you repeat yourself the next hit. What they want you to do is talk for longer.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay, I let them know.
So that's the long-term discussion. President Biden says that Congress will hopefully agree with him and fund the bridge reconstruction.
Hat was giving me a headache.
Officials from
Too tight?
Yeah, I
Your
have a big
melon?
head.
Your melon just doesn't want to be in it. You
No,
can't
and
contain your melon.
I kept trying to pull it down, and I was like, this hurts my head.
I just reapplied sunscreen. I was like,
I tried to cover it up. Do I have a mark from the hat?
I don't think so.
I can't do it.
I mean,
tried
it seems
around.
pink, but it doesn't look like a line. I don't think it'll be noticeable.
Originally, we were supposed to go on a boat, so that's why I threw my hair up. Did they tell you that?
Well, they're trying to effort us getting out on a boat, but boat traffic's closed. Like,
Yeah. So that's when I got the call. So I got ready as if I was going on
there
a
might
boat.
be an opportunity later with like the search and rescue.
Oh my gosh,
Not
yeah.
today, but like later this week, they might take some people out.
And I'm happy about it. I don't want to see it up close, you know?
Ooh, I do. I shouldn't say that. People and all like
No,
who
you
died.
get news.
I know.
You're used to it.
There's been no news of like we found the other 6, like they're dead.
I know. They keep saying it's still search and rescue, but
They haven't popped up. They're not like hiding somewhere. Yeah.
awful.
So are you after what was
Deb.
the order?
Kim, Deb, us.
Oh, okay. So Kim hasn't found yet.
Hello? 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 I'm at
They're just having us on whatever. It's not gonna
The person who's taken shock trauma has been released.
Oh, that's good.
Good.
They're in the cars. That bridge is so high. If they're in their cars and my friend texted me, was like, I just hope they're unconscious. You know, when they went in, I don't know if that's entirely possible.
Yeah. It sounds like the construction workers were taking a break in their truck,
They could have been in the truck. They could have been just standing there.
sitting on the edge. I've been trying to confirm this power outage with everyone, and I have not confirmed that anywhere.
Yeah, I don't
So
know.
that's why I'm not saying it.
Yeah, it's being said enough elsewhere. It's okay for you to leave.
Yeah, because I'm like, I have not confirmed that. We got a couple emails because Kate said names.
Yeah.
She was listing names and possible victims. We got a couple emails. How dare you say the names? Their families probably don't even know yet. So irresponsible.
Yeah, I hope she cleared that.
I think that's why she's not saying them anymore. I noticed she hasn't said them again.
I wouldn't have
so.
said them without confirmation.
Huh?
I'm not sure I would have said them without confirmation.
The whole thing she told me, I'm not saying. Mariah apologized for being short.
Oh, that's okay. At least she did.
So what do you see? Anything?
Media's blocking it.
So you can't see cargo or anything?
It's blurry and too bright behind you.
So don't reference.
You can say like you might be able to see it, but you
Okay.
audio message thing.
I did it earlier.
I've done it 1,000 times today, and I don't know what I'm touching that is setting it off.
I do that.
Make sure I was doing it like.
Are those trailers new that they put out there?
You know, I haven't noticed one way or the other.
Yeah.
They could be new. Yeah.
Probably,
I don't know, honestly.
yeah, probably Command is my guess. I won't say, but
Yeah, don't say. I mean, they definitely weren't on the Beltway before, so
yeah, something new.
yeah. They're probably just setting up what's going to be like an office space for a long time. So
Yeah.
you could mention like they brought in trailers and likely going to be office space for the investigation.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just waiting to get up here. I'll slide.
Right there. See?
She's fine. She's okay. The kids are with him. That's fine. Okay. So Yara may want to sleep. So and there's pasta in the fridge. So if you want to just take that out and give them butter pasta, that's fine. She can go down now.
Yeah, so the latest update, it was supposed to be at noon, then 1. It is now scheduled for 2:30. So we have about an hour before we will hear from the NTSB about this investigation here. Now, over my shoulder, this is the very edge, as close as we can get in Dundalk to this scene. Over my shoulder, the bridge just kind of cuts off. You can see where it starts, the ramp goes up, and then it's gone. The cargo ship is sitting below it still. We're waiting to learn about the crew members that were on that ship. Now, along with President Biden speaking earlier, we've had a few different press conferences. We had one very early this morning with Mayor Brandon Scott, who just gave us the initial reaction, what was going on here. Our latest press conference was with Governor Moore and a whole lot of officials. He was saying this is a state and local effort. He was going over, what we know at this point, what we've been saying, that 8 people were involved in this that we know of. 2 of those were rescued. The other 6 are what divers, helicopters are searching for right now. They reiterate to us that this is still a search and rescue mission. I'm sure we'll get an update on that as soon as we get that press conference. But earlier when we spoke with Governor Moore, he wasn't the only official to get up. We heard from the mayor about the local state of emergency. We heard from the FBI talking about how they do not believe this is an act of terrorism. They have nothing to clue in to that. But we also heard from Senator Van Hollen. He was saying that he's been speaking with Pete Buttigieg about how we're going to move forward from this when it comes to funding. And take a listen to what he had to say. This is one of the biggest ports in the country. This has such an impact on the northeast corridor of our country. That's why all parties are getting involved, local, state, and national. And that is also why in front of me I've been describing what I'm seeing here just right on the scene. And I have dozens and dozens, I'd say probably 3 dozen crews from across the world here right now. I've been hearing various languages around me, different crews from all over. That's how big of a deal and what an impact this has. Locally, of course, we're focusing on this, but the economy, this is going to have a ripple effect. The Port of Baltimore, the latest is that vessels are not coming in right now. Commuter traffic also avoiding this area, but trucks are still able to go into the Port of Baltimore. They're hoping that'll help in some way, but the days in the future, we are going to find out how big of an impact this has on our economy. Of course, again, we're waiting to hear from the NTSB. That should be our next update. They're telling us 2:30. This has been pushed a couple times now, but we are staying on scene. We will not be leaving because this is the media staging area where any updates should come into. And when we get them, we will bring them to you. Back to you in the studio. Great question. So the investigation, of course, They're going to tell us what they can, and then afterward we're going to ask our questions. In our previous press conference, I had a couple answered, but my biggest was not able to be answered. It was at the very end of the press conference. One reporter asked, what about these vehicles on the bridge? We still have no answers here. We've heard multiple things, but on the record, we have no answers. So I asked, hey, this is a very important point here. We need to know if anyone was driving on this. And what they could tell me is they don't know. They do not know if anyone was driving on the bridge. Of course, you can inspect that incredible video, but there's no way to tell at this moment. On the record, we do not know if anyone was driving on that bridge. That is my biggest question at the moment. My other question would pertain to who was on the bridge. Arcata Mara has been gathering more details, speaking with people, going around the area, and it sounds like she's learned some good information that she has passed along to me to figure out, confirm who was on that bridge. What we know is that it was construction workers. The 8 people that they keep referencing, the 2 that were rescued, and then the 6, the helicopter above me now that they're searching for, we know that those were all construction workers. So those are who they're searching for. But when it comes to anyone that may have been driving on the bridge, we are still wondering about that. So those are the big questions at the moment. And in the press conference, they said a lot, too early to tell, too early to tell. So we're going to keep pressing and see, what can you tell us at this time? Because this is hours in. We should have some more concrete details at this point, and that should be sent for 2:30 p.m., and that is when we should hopefully get some more questions answered here. I feel like an old lady. My back hurts. I turned 30 and now I have back issues.
Oh yeah, just gets worse. Like the traffic's going to be impacted. The port being closed.
They should have a whole reporter on that.
I just feel like it's like there's going to be some long-term ramifications until they get the channel dug out.
Yep.
The traffic reporter,
Channel gets dug out.
every single morning, so definitely stay with us there. We'll be able to give you those details and kind of give you the best way to travel.
I had to switch phones because one of them's dying. Care 11 in Minnesota or Minneapolis?
Only that they're like
storytelling.
Oh, they do all the storytelling. Yeah.
One of their photogs that I don't know just messaged said he was watching us and we're doing a great job. It's like a whole paragraph.
Oh, message you?
Yeah, on Instagram.
Oh, you famous.
He said they're watching our coverage. What a tragedy. I'm sure you guys are running on adrenaline, but we're watching here in Minneapolis. Your colleagues and you are doing an amazing work given the circumstances. Hopefully you guys get a breather.
Oh, say thank you from
Thinking of us.
thank you from the media staging area.
Great on him.
Running on coffee and a pumpkin sandwich.
Did you bring lunch? Do you have something? Okay, because I have a little something in the car and I have a bunch of pretzels and stuff that we could share.
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm gonna get my water in a little bit, probably.
We had 2 police officers like ambushed, shot, and killed in Des Moines. That was my other big news that I ever did. And I remember they like cornered us off, and I was morning team, so I got there at like 2 a.m. and they cornered it off so we couldn't go anywhere. And so one of our like directors brought us sandwiches.
That's nice.
I was like, thank you.
What's funny is like when I was leaving, Sharon had brought in. I don't know if somebody gave it to us or Sharon brought it in. I believe Sharon would do something nice. Like a big thing of Towson hot bagels and coffee. It's so funny is like all this food arrives to the station.
I know.
Where the people have a bathroom sitting.
That's why I was so
There's a
appreciative when
snack
they brought it.
downstairs.
Oh yeah, they have yeah, that's why I was like, oh my gosh, you brought us sandwiches.
Or like election night, pizza for the people who
I never
can't
tried
leave.
that.
Yeah, you're always out. Maybe the campaign will feed you. Maybe they won't.
Oh my gosh, story of my life is like the caucus in Iowa. Oh, especially when I was at MMJ. Oh my gosh.
What a nightmare.
I never ate.
I don't like get headachy or hangry, so I'm actually totally fine.
Yeah.
I'll
Good.
probably get thirsty a little bit, but I got my water.
Okay. I remember we had a tornado that ripped through one time, and it like destroyed a home. Like you could see the inside and everything because it was out in the country, so it only hit like 2 homes. But I'd been going so long, like it was just because it was the beginning of the morning show and then on, and I was doing cut-ins and everything. And by the end of it, I think the adrenaline and everything gave me a migraine. And when I get migraines, like I get ocular, so I can't see. So I was mid-hit during a cut-in, and I remember it just turned to black dots. And I was like, I had to toss back, and then I like went. But you didn't see it on air.
You're like, maybe you could give her a break.
Because I was like, I've been going for like 7 hours. Right? I gotta stop. They weren't good. That's what I love about this station is they're so good at like how we took over for Jen. And
Yeah, at least they don't make Jen like
stay all day.
morning crew. I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised if they had to stay late. As it turns out, they kind of didn't.
Yeah.
But like, to stay till 5, like, they don't want to pay the overtime. Like, they're getting hit with overtime today, so if they can cut them loose, they're gonna.
Yeah, because Jen said she was on vacation today. She wasn't supposed to be working today.
Oh shit.
So
Good for her for coming in.
yeah, I think that's why she was like, okay, I'm out.
That's all I'm doing is live shots anyway. Correct. That's all I'm doing is live shots so you guys can edit anything. So that's all.
Kate is good at going long. I shake it out and I put it back in and she's still going. She's perfect for scenarios like this.
Yeah, she can handle. She's crazy, but like she can talk.
And she sounds much more composed than usual.
Like she can get a lot of information out, like without like almost.
Yeah.
Like she is good at that.
Jacob posted this. That's a good visual.
Damn. Yeah.
5, and 6. I asked Marie, I called her earlier. She said, like what you said, that will just be BOSATs and that we are nuts and bolts.
Yeah, and I don't have anything to cut, so.
Do you think I should use the latest press conference?
Yeah.
And then maybe I can use Governor Moore if there's anything.
I don't know if Moore will be here for the second one. Can't tell if he left or not. Brandon left.
Do you think I should be done with the earlier press conferences, only use the latest?
I would use Moore if we don't see Moore again today.
Okay.
And then I'd use, obviously, the latest if there's some pertinent information. But if that's the only time we saw Moore today, definitely use him.
Okay. I'll have to check because so many people talk. I'm sure they're using it throughout the show for other elements. I'll have to see what's mine.
As of yet, I haven't. I don't know what. I don't know. Like, are they going to round robin the 4, 5, and 6? Just keep going, or is it going to be an action?
That's a good point. I didn't ask.
Yeah.
I'll check back after this press conference.
Yeah, use the latest, obviously newest first. If Moore doesn't talk again today, use Moore. I would not use that lame ass. We're with the victim thing, unless, I don't know, maybe that is the one to use if everybody else is like,
No, there's so much more. I know she used X as the first thing. But, yeah, I wrote down some socks that would work nicely. I just don't want to pre-write and everything changes after this. I'm just going to wait.
Yeah, definitely latest. And you might get, if Buttigieg is really here, something from him, NTSB.
Yeah, that's why it's hard, like nuts and bolts, but then I have those people. That's not really, we're moving beyond nuts and bolts of what happened. So you think that's still...
Don't take nuts and bolts to heart. We have what we have.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't fit in their box, it doesn't. We're going, this is where we are. We're getting shots from Buttigieg, whoever, because that's where we are.
Yeah.
When they say nuts and bolts, they mean like, you're not getting Kim Dacey stuff.
Yeah. dai il drop. Io sì, voi mi sentite?
I'm not used to being tethered because I always use my AirPods, but I know the battery will drain out of those real quick. Light over here in case we can't do another. Okay.
Podle všeho měla technické problémy na těch
I have to blind you on the next one.
Okay.
kind of a difference. Oh jo, to mi jako nevadí, to nám nevadí.
Pronto, prova, mi sentite? Pronto, prova da Baltimora. Io vi sento, voi mi sentite? Ok. Grazie. Che sta scherzando? No, quello è quello illeso. E l'altro non è morto comunque, Cioè, ha detto Biden, ragazzi, ma poi lo metterebbero New York Times e CNN. Rimaniamo così, va bene? Anche a TG1 l'hanno levato.
Something you can talk about is, because I haven't heard very many, something you can talk about because I haven't heard any of the reporters really mention of what we were speaking about is like the channel's blocked with the structure of the bridge. So you have ships stuck inside and you have more ships stuck outside. And the port handles like millions of items per year. Kate kind of mentioned it like on one of her early hits.
What was the last thing you said? Handles millions.
Millions of products a year.
Thank you.
Cars show up here, your Amazon will show up here. So, remains to be seen, like, what the commerce ramifications are going to be until the channel is cleared. And they did not give us a timeline on the channel being cleared. I think somebody asked, sort of like about.
And they keep saying it's on search and rescue.
Well, they wouldn't, obviously, and they wouldn't know that today anyways, but it's something to say.
You know, I'd never seen a cargo ship before until I moved here.
I believe that. Yeah,
Iowa,
it's
not a thing.
You see the container that shows up, you know. A lot of cars come in here too. A lot of cars.
Yes, I've driven past a lot because I live in Hampton now. I moved.
And there's more on the other side of the harbor that you probably don't see. Yeah.
Now we're getting ready to head out. Grab like got your audio. Really less than an hour.
This evening, the ship remains stuck. A large section of the bridge across its bow. Already engineered for either continuing to this plan. This is the bill.
Send Kim a text. Kate, doing awesome.
Very in-house, it sounds like.
Very in-house. Maybe Deb's having a break. I can't tell.
Yeah.
And Victor's talking about something slightly different.
And then Kate, Kim, and I.
Right now, yeah.
fella in the cape. Oh, yeah, yeah. Thank you. No, not fine. That's all. But I think,
Is everything on that cell of mine still? Okay.
no, yeah, I couldn't remember, like, because I thought, like, there was some piece that I took from you or something.
This is clutch. All right. Until next time, man. Thanks for coming out. I know it's stressful first 5 hours. I'm going on it tomorrow. I don't know. Oh, you're doing us again too? Okay, so we'll. Yeah, bro. Back to the site. Let me do cool. So we'll let you know.
Anytime you want, brother.
You're always welcome. That's how we do it. Or someone. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. How's it going, dude?
It's nice and warm now.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah, I brought layers. Yeah, no, tonight is just.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold tonight. All right, I'm gonna go write this 3. You need me tomorrow after. Cool. Good, brother.
Weird that bridge is gone.
That what?
Weird that bridge is gone.
Yeah. Are you from here?
Yeah, like Annapolis area, Sparta Park.
Oh, so this is like always been here for you?
Yeah, I was born in '79, so it's always been part of the like roadway / skylines.
Yeah.
Weird.
Oh,
And
that's
obviously,
crazy.
like accidents can always happen.
Yeah.
And big ships are going to take out the bridge.
For the whole bridge.
The way I heard an engineer explain it, it's like, yeah, I mean, a smaller boat may not have collapsed it.
Yeah.
I think it was 900 feet long, full of containers. That much force,
Yeah.
concrete and steel isn't going to stop.
Yeah.
So they might have raised it and it would stand construction, but taking out a support, like,
Yeah.
it's not.
Look at that bridge, because this is about of that bridge. The action on the other side of the bridge, and you can see it just dramatically drops off. Obviously, this is where we saw this entire bridge just within seconds collapse on itself.
I'll be ready. I'll come in like I said.
So yeah, he could just do it. Yeah, I'll just do this.
Thank you. This has to be one of the biggest bridge collapses in this country, possibly ever. I don't know, we could Google bridge collapses in America quickly and see, like,
This is the biggest.
it has to be up there because of the size. It has to be.
I'll look it up.
Like modern history for sure. Or you could also Google like the last major bridge collapse. I think there was something in like the north Midwest a highway collapse like 10 or 15 years ago, maybe. It was like an, I don't want to say it was like an elevated highway. It wasn't a car.
Absolument. Et ça, c'est important de le souligner pour nos téléspectateurs. Vous avez très bien mis en situation la réalité de cet accident-là. Revenons quand même en détail. Ce navire, le Dali, un immense porte-conteneurs qui quitte le port de Baltimore avec 24 marins à bord et les 2 pilotes qui appartiennent au port, qui travaillent pour le port de Baltimore, parce que les entrées et les sorties de ces bateaux-là sont faites par les
The AP just wrote an article.
Baltimore. Vous l'avez souligné, la perte de courant permet la destruction de la barre du navire. Il y a un mayday qui est en fait une alerte quand on avait perdu le contrôle du bateau. Cette alerte-là aux autorités portuaires a fait en sorte qu'on a juste assez de temps pour faire les voitures dans le
Yeah, if there's any available. There should be one from Moore that I haven't used yet. What do you say? Oh. Should be more talking about collapse was shocking. Okay, anything you have I can use. Perfect.
with the 7 springs. Honestly, yeah, the funniest. Yeah, like I remember my dad,
That's right. You know, this is one of the biggest ports in the nation, so this is such a large impact. We're going to see the NTSB. They're coming here. We should be hearing from them in 20 minutes now. That's the last update that we'll hear from them at 2:30. They'll have boots on the ground here in Dundalk. This is the media briefing area where we will get to ask some of those questions. So for anyone who's just tuning in, here's what we've learned. You know, we've had a couple different press conferences this morning. The last one was quite a bit ago. It was at 9:30ish or around that time or earlier this morning. And we found out this is being called an accident. It happened at 1:30 a.m. A ship called the Dolly out of Singapore. It left around 1 for Sri Lanka. About an hour into that trip, issued a mayday and crashed into the Key Bridge. They say nothing like this has happened before. Debris field here, it is massive. The entire bridge is down from the hit. It's a 1.6 mile long bridge. That's a lot of debris to be sitting in the Patapsco River right now. Now, Governor Moore was the latest press conference we had. He said that as soon as this happened, local, state, and even national authorities came together and started coordinating a group response here. Now, most of the focus throughout the day, it's 2:10 now. Our Jennifer Franciotti was here around 4 a.m. We've been here all throughout the day, and most of the focus they've been telling us has been on a search and rescue. And although it's been so long, we do still have helicopters overhead, several circling the area. We've been told about divers going under the water because they're looking for any vehicles that may be under the water at this moment. Now, the Secretary of Transportation, Paul Wiedefield, was also here. He says that those people that were missing, they were construction workers repairing potholes. He says it had nothing to do with the structural integrity of the Key Bridge. Now, 2 people were rescued from the Patapsco River. 1 refused treatment. The other went to shock trauma and has since been released, which is such good news, a bright spot that we needed to hear today. But unfortunately, 6 people are still missing, at least 6 people. Those are the people we know about. But when I pressed in our last press conference, they could not tell me about anyone that may have been driving on that bridge. And that is why they have divers, they have this aerial support trying to figure out if anyone else was on that bridge when it went down. Now, Senator Van Hollen says the Coast Guard aviation cutters also helping. And he spoke with Pete Buttigieg, who says he's going to do everything he can to make sure they can help in this response. Of course, this is a national investigation, but we also have the Army Corps of Engineers looking below the surface. You know, we got so many details. But some key ones are missing here. You know, we still don't know about the vehicles, if any were driving on that bridge, and we're still waiting to learn more about the construction workers who were repairing potholes and went down with the bridge. Take a listen. This is our latest update for Governor Moore. Take a listen. It truly is. It makes your heart sink. I know when I got the call this morning, my heart sank right down hearing this news. Of course, we are going to stay on scene as we wait to hear from the NTSB. I have a whole lot of questions I want to ask them. That'll be hopefully in about 20 minutes. When it starts, we will bring it to you. But for now, back to you guys in the studio. That's right, Kai. So right behind me here, this is as close as we can get. There's some police tape they put up. We tried to get closer earlier. They said, no, you got to go back a little bit. So this is the closest we could be to where the bridge broke off. You can kind of see behind me, there are lots of news crews here. I'd say a few dozen from across the world here right now because of the major impact this has. You can see the bridge is kind of cut off behind me. It just drops away. It's gone. The cargo ship remains there. We also, another question I've been wondering is about the crew involved in this. We've heard a couple different numbers as to how many people were on board, but we're waiting to learn more about that ship that just sits there right now. Again, we're in Dundalk here, so this is the closest we can be. This is the media staging. So this is where our crews have been since early this morning, 3:30, 4 a.m. We have had crews here, boots on the ground, finding out what we can. We've had a few press conferences, and we're about to have another one, and hopefully we'll get some more concrete answers in this next press conference, Kai. Exactly that. That is the number that we received, but honestly, things have been fluctuating. We've heard a few different things because this is an ongoing investigation. That is what they try to tell us. But earlier this morning, numbers were very different than what they are now. So the latest thing we heard was that 22 crew members, but I'm going to ask again because as this investigation goes on, unfortunately, those numbers change. There have been a few things that have changed throughout the morning that we've had to get clarification on, and that is one of them. That is the last that we heard. Of course, that was a few hours ago before, but if they are still on board, we heard 22 on board that ship there, and you can clearly see it. When I step away, it's hard because there are so many crews here, but when I step away, I can clearly see that ship sitting there and then the bridge in the water next to it. It's a surreal sight to see right in front of you. So again, we're waiting to hear more on those crew members. The last we heard was the 22 still on board. That's right. Our port, I was just going to say, when it comes to our port, I was just speaking with our photographer, Bridget, who's been here her whole life, and we were discussing how so much comes in and out of our port here. We are such a major factor for the northeast corridor of our country. And really, look at this boat. We're talking about Sri Lanka, Singapore. This is a boat that has a large impact. So we're waiting to learn what was in the containers, but of course I can see it is a container ship full of containers. Of course, we have vehicles that come on boats here. Your Amazon orders come on boats here. So they haven't quite told us what exactly is on this ship behind me here, but I'm sure that is something else we'll be wondering about. There are so many questions about the details in this case, and that is why we really want to hear from the NTSB because they are in charge of the investigation that is going on here. So that is just yet another question that we're going to be asking.
Ma vediamo la ricostruzione dell'incidente nel servizio dei gerarchi usati e poi il punto sulle indagini bridge, now in pieces and partly underwater. It used to be a busy, highly traveled bridge spanning about 1.6 miles before this ship crash sent it tumbling down. The president also says he does plan to visit Baltimore, but didn't share any specific details of his trip. In Washington, I'm Anna Brand. Oh yeah, thank you. The president also says he does plan to visit here in Baltimore, but he didn't share any specific details about his trip. In Baltimore, I'm Anna Brand. The president also says he does plan to visit Baltimore, but didn't share any specific details about his trip. In Baltimore, I'm Anna Brand. Federal and local leaders working together on rescue and recovery efforts after the Key Bridge here in Baltimore collapsed. I'm Anna Brand in Baltimore. I'll have that story coming up. I'm gonna track. I'm just gonna.
हमें ना एक वो स्टैंड लाना चाहिए. I don't have that stand.
Oh, I need a track.
दिख रहा है?
Change London driving. He's okay with that.
Do you want to just pop a... Yeah. This is mic check, 1 2, mic check. I don't have any timing. I'm just doing this to help people. 1 2, 1 2, mic check, 1 2. Mic check, 1 2 3. Which one? WFMZ. Can we put this down just a bit? Thank you so much. 1 2 3, 1 2 3. Does anybody need a white? 1 2 3, 1 2 3. Everybody good? Everybody happy? You're good. You're good. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Everybody good? Everybody happy? Going once, going twice. Love you all.
Give me a mic check. Check. No.
Just a heads up, we're shooting cuts of Tom right behind you. So, yeah. Yep. Yeah, if you just push back like it is, scoot. Yeah.
Hey, tune in for this feed, A1.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I will kneel down.
This is not easy.
No, I need to just roll on this, guys.
So you need to tune in. You just gotta tune me in.
live in Baltimore. You see us? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Cool.
Hey, Rick. Just took it all. God damn it. Just take someone's mic off and just throw it in here somewhere.
I can step right here if you need. I just need my cord here. I can sit down. Okay, no, sorry. Yeah, no worries. Get comfy. Those are good things, eh? Yeah. Always sounds like a good idea.
I was gonna say, I think half of us were supposed to be in Texas today. Busy day for the rest of the world.
Is everyone comfortable? It's like a picnic.
Worst picnic I've ever been to.
He's gonna sit. This is just for you. No, he's gonna sit. He said he's gonna sit. He said he's gonna sit. Are you sitting or standing?
I'm sitting.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm out of the way for you guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, at least
Sure. Have you got a mic there? Am I live? No. So many things going on. No deficiencies. Hard. Nothing you're dropping. Send your way. Most of everything because everyone just sessions. Yeah.
Okay, does that make sense? Nice? Okay. Yeah, and then you come here and we feed the rest, you know, because it's going to look nicer, you know, for the rest of the shows later. This and stuff. But the slide can take this line right away. Alright? Okay. And make sure if it's in the office, remember the window. I don't know if it's the window, but remember don't shoot against the window. Right? Put accurate. Look for.
Fíjate da igual. Las modernidades de la casa.
Stand by, here we go.
NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy, and that's Homendy, will make some remarks about today's accident and investigation, and we'll take your questions.
Thank you for joining us. My name is Jennifer Homendy, and I'm the chair of the National Transportation Safety Board. Normally, our investigator in charge, his name is Marcel Muse, M-U-I-S-E. His first name is M-A-R-C-E-L. Marcel Muse is our investigator in charge for this investigation. But just given that we've arrived on scene today, it's very early. I've asked that he remain at the command post to continue what he is doing so that I can brief you on what we're doing so far. Also with me is one of our newest board members. This is Alvin Brown, and this is his training launch. So the NTSB arrived on scene at 6 a.m. To investigate an accident involving a Singapore registered vessel with the name Dali, D-A-L-I, which made contact with the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore, Maryland, a.m. this morning. The vessel is 985 feet long. It's a 95,000 gross ton container ship. I've seen information about crew members on board. We still need to verify the numbers of crew on board and their status. Under our Memorandum of Understanding with the Coast Guard, the NTSB is leading this investigation. The Coast Guard will support this investigation. Our Memorandum of Understanding, for example, provides for when an accident involves another mode of transportation and other factors, the NTSB will lead that investigation. Now, I want to thank the U.S. Coast Guard. We have a very cooperative relationship with the U.S. Coast Guard. I particularly want to thank Deputy Commandant for Operations, Vice Admiral Gautier. I want to thank Admiral Gilbreth, who's commander of the 5th Coast Guard District, and Captain O'Connell, who's the sector commander. Before I go on behalf of the NTSB, I want to extend our deepest sympathies to those who have been affected by this significant event. The NTSB, as I mentioned, does many significant transportation events, not just aviation. We do accidents and incidents in marine safety as well, and of course with bridges and other highway infrastructure. And for this, there were many that were affected by this collapse, and our deepest sympathies go out to the families, loved ones, and others who have been affected. I'm going to get questions on fatalities and injuries, which I'm not going to answer. That is not something that the NTSB answers. I will refer you to local authorities on all of that information. What I can tell you is a search and rescue is still underway. So we are very hopeful, and again, our thoughts are with the families and their loved ones. Again, we got here at 6 a.m. And we are standing back to allow the Coast Guard and Search and Rescue to continue their search and rescue operations while we gather information from the command post. There is a lot of information that we can begin to collect. We have a team of 24 on scene, including Member Brown, and me. The team of experts include experts in nautical operations, and what they're going to look at and begin to collect is information on vessel operations, safety history, safety record. They'll look at the owner, they'll look at the operator, and they'll look at the operations this day. Today, they will also look at company policy, any sort of safety management system or safety management program will be looked at by them, and our human performance team as well. We have a human performance expert here. We have an engineering team. We have survival factors, and then we have a team here that is getting the recorders. We also have a highway safety team, our team out of the Office of Highway Safety, including structural engineers, bridge experts who will be here and are continuing to come in. We have a few here, and one or two others are coming in the next few hours. We also have our family assistance team on site, and our family assistance team works with those that were affected by a particular event, families, friends, and other loved ones, and they will help them get in touch with the resources they need while also providing them with the information that they need as we move forward with our investigation. This is a team effort. There are a lot of entities right now in the command post, all focused on search and rescue, as they should be. But I do want to, in particular, thank the Coast Guard, the Maryland Transportation Authority Police, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, the Baltimore Fire and Rescue, and the Maryland State Police. I also know that there are others on scene I'm sure I have missed. For example, Army Corps of Engineers is here, a great deal of expertise, and all focused on what is very important, which is the people first. I have been in contact with my counterpart in Singapore. Director Chong is the director of the Transport Safety Investigations Board. The NTSB maintains relationships with our counterparts in other countries often and stay in close communication. So the director and I have been in communication many times before on safety, so it was a good conversation. He is sending some personnel here tomorrow. Also, personnel will be arriving from the Maritime and Port Authority of Singapore, who has the focus of being the regulator in Singapore. Now, it's not a lot of information that I can share at this time, and I know there's a lot of information that seems to be circulating. The NTSB doesn't speculate. We provide facts. And so there isn't a lot we can share right now because the focus has been on the people. However, if you know me, I like to provide information as we can when we are able to verify those facts and be open about that. Transparency is one of our mandates, one of our core values. So please monitor ntsb.gov and X, where we will post when we are having another media briefing. We do have an organizational meeting tonight at 5 o'clock, which I mentioned, to determine where we want to go next on the investigation. But there's a lot of information we need to gather between now and then in the days and weeks that follow. So with that, I am going to take questions. I will call on you. Please state your name and your affiliation. We'll start with Tom and then go over here.
Thank you, Chair Halmody. Tom Costello with NBC News. You spoke of one of the teams within this NTSB structure looking for specifically the recorders on board the ship. Can you speak to what type of recorders may be on board the ship, and what do you hope what information might they provide?
Yeah, at this time, I will have more information about the recorders tomorrow. We chose not to board the vessel today to allow some time for the search and recovery, which we did not want to interfere with. That is the first and foremost. We do have some information, but we need to verify that information first before I provide that information, before I verify it. So we'll have that information tomorrow, or maybe later tonight if you want to check with me. Yes.
Sabina with ABC News. How long will the search go on for today?
The search is, it's a question on how long the search will go on today. The NTSB is not in charge of the search and rescue operation. That is the U.S. Coast Guard, so I would refer you to the Coast Guard for that information. Yep.
Hi there, Nicole Skanga, CBS News. Were the tugs pulled loose before the ship lost control, and can you give us a rough timeline of when they were pulled loose? And also curious just what you can tell us about the timeline, how much time lapsed between the pilot notifying authorities and the actual crash itself?
Yeah, there's a question on the tugs and the timeline. Again, I know this is all information you're looking for. The information we get, which often happens in a large event where there are a lot of entities, is there is conflicting information. The NTSB focuses on the facts, so we will figure that out and be able to provide that information in the coming days. Today is far too early for that.
Anything on the timeline?
Nothing on the timeline so far.
How critical will a voyage data recorder be to investigating?
How critical will a voyage data recorder be to investigating this? It will be critical. It's a critical piece of our investigation, which is why we have a recorders team here.
Have you been able to investigate or figure out why this ship did not immediately drop anchor when the power went out and they were on course to fly to East Bridge?
Again, that will be, the question is on dropping anchor and whether they did or did not, and the timing on that. Again, that'll be part of our investigation and part of our timeline. I can provide you more information on that in the coming days, but not today.
Rena Bhartwaj, ANI. Just wanted to check, do you have any information on the crew that was on board, their nationality? Were there 22 Indians on board? Apparently there's a report that says there were 22 Indians who were on board.
The question is who was on board the vessel and nationalities. I've heard conflicting information on that as well. We will have to get back to you on that.
Ma'am,
Yes.
do you have any reason to believe there were major deficiencies with the vessel before it set sail? What are you learning from previous inspections?
The question is, were there any deficiencies on the vessel before it sailed, and will we be looking at any safety information? That is part of our investigation, where we look at in depth at safety information, anything that may have occurred prior to this, any sort of safety history with respect to the vessel, any sort of maintenance that was done to a vessel or the vessel or component on the ship. We will look at all of that, but it's much too early for all of that.
You spoke about the government assets that are here. Can you talk about the private sector folks that you're working with? Are there folks from Maersk? Are there folks from the insurance companies that you're in contact with now who are on the scene today?
The question is, who are we working with from the private sector folks? I mean, certainly we're working with the owner-operators, which are two different entities for this vessel. We will be working with the pilot association, and we will have a number of federal, state, and local partners as party to the investigation. We are going to designate those tonight at the organizational briefing, and I'll have more information on that tomorrow.
Given obviously the search and rescue effort is the main focus right now, handled by the U.S. Coast Guard, but the Key Bridge being such a major thoroughfare for the city and for our commerce, for our entire country, not to mention the waterways being shut down, is there any sense of urgency to get this cleaned up faster, or what exactly is the priority beyond just the search and rescue?
There's a question on what's the priority beyond the search and rescue. We don't, certainly investigations are a priority. Certainly environmental considerations are a priority, and so is traffic and getting, cargo vessels in and out of the port of Baltimore. It's not the NTSB's priority. We have a number of organizations, including the Department of Transportation, Maryland Department of Transportation, the governor, that's doing a lot of work on that. but this is right now it's about people. It's about families and addressing the needs of those that were impacted. That's the focus. I don't think anybody in that room right now at the command post is thinking about what are the next steps to get things cleaned up. They're working to figure out who was impacted, if anyone was impacted, and how do we address that, because that is and should be the priority always.
Rosales with EWTN News Nightly. You talked a little bit about the families and you talked a little bit about the rescue effort that's taking place. Have we confirmed that there were any more than just the 6 construction workers that were on the bridge itself? Were there any more possible other cars, other drivers on the bridge?
So there's a lot of information. The question is on have we been able to confirm information on the number of cars on the bridge, the number of workers on the bridge. There are a lot of numbers that we've heard back and forth. We need to verify that. The search team is doing that now. That's not for the NTSB, that is for the local authorities, Maryland State Police, and the Maryland Transportation Authority, as well as their federal partners through the Coast Guard, to be able to verify that information in particular.
Right now, there could be other victims than just the 6 that you're searching.
There are, nobody is going by a number. They are just looking and they're searching. That's what's important.
Chair, are
Yeah.
there any kind of structural protections on this bridge? Can you tell us anything about how it was built? I've been hearing about dolphins, which are concrete, and ways to stop a collapse like this. Can you tell us anything about the structure of what was once there?
Yeah, the structure of the bridge, there's some questions about the structure of the bridge, protective structure around the bridge or around the piers to make sure there isn't a collapse. We are aware of what a structure should have. Part of our investigation will be how was this bridge constructed? It will look at the structure itself. Should there be any sort of safety improvements? All that will be part of our investigation. We go very broad in our investigation. The question is, has the bridge ever been flagged for any sort of safety deficiency or security deficiency? That is information that we will that will take time to dig through. I will just point to our recent investigation of the Fern Hollow Bridge collapse, which took almost 2 years to get information on inspections and what was and was not done after those inspections, and whether there were records or not records maintained. That's specific to Fern Hollow Bridge, but it is very cumbersome process. It's a very meticulous process where they have to dig through a lot of information, so it will not be something that we will be able to verify while on scene.
Are you able to speak at all about the reported power outage on the ship and whether the data recorder might provide any insight into that?
The question is on the reported power failure. We've heard the reports. We've been made aware of those same reports about there being a power outage. I've also seen statements, media releases from Singapore as well. It's something that we take in, but something that we have to verify through our investigation that was what was part of the contributing cause here. So too early to tell. Yep.
Andrew here from NPR. Can you confirm if the construction workers on the bridge were employed by Bronner Building?
Can I confirm whether the construction workers on the bridge were employed by Bronner Builders Incorporated? That is the information we have, Bronner Builders Incorporated. Of course, sometimes they use subcontractors, so we don't have any information yet on subcontractors, but we do have information on the company itself.
Have they been able to confirm
is there any information on anybody that is unaccounted for, and whether they were able to verify with the company That is something that the federal officials, the FBI, along with the Coast Guard will verify, not the NTSB.
Last question.
We've gotten word that, of course, there were the construction workers, but one of the people was a state inspector. Can you share any word if you know about that, and that was the person that was rescued and taken to the hospital?
The question is about a state inspector. I don't have information on the state inspector at this point. We are very focused on getting our investigative groups up and running. Again, let the search and rescue team do what they need to do to focus on the people, and then we are gathering information from the owner and the owner of the ship, of the vessel, and then the operator and others for this time. Again, that was my last question. For further information, and I know it's not a lot of information for the first day, but we just got here, and really the focus is on the families and the people. That is our main focus. That is everyone's main focus right now. The rest can wait. So please monitor ntsb.gov and our Twitter feed for the next briefing. Thank you.
Ma'am, will Secretary Buttigieg be coming down here?
Governor's having a
Here?
Okay. 3:30.
The governor, as well as others, will be coming back.
The governor and others are coming at 3:30 for a presser.
Thank you. Who is it at 3:30?
Governor.
Governor Moore. Okay, thank you.
But yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
3:30.
3:30. 3:30. Presser with Governor Moore. We'll be back. Okay?
Thank you.
Governor at 3:30. Same spot here. So if you want me to do something like 15, I don't want to whack you. More is going to be.
Oh wait, I'm not. I'm still in Chicago.
So you're saying go live and file PC?
Yeah, they're ready to ship it over to
No, it's fine. I could do it now. Fine. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Bye.